Hello, my brothers, and hello, my sisters. This is Brother West coming back to you again. And I just want to encourage some of you that listen to me that you're having a problem with being still. You have a problem with patience. You're having a problem with learning how to manage and deal with some things. You know, I was having a conversation with my wife the other day, and it's about with trials, tribulations, tests, all these things that we deal with. What happens when you become familiar with tests, when you become familiar with trials, and when you become familiar with a certain weight? It's just like with lifting weights. When you become familiar with lifting weights, what happened over a period of time, once you lift that weight every day, every other day, then eventually what's going to happen, then what at one time you thought was heavy, it will then become familiar. And then the moment that it becomes familiar, then you'll become comfortable with it. And then what at one time was an obstacle, at one time something that was difficult, now is something that you can deal with. It's something that you can manage to overcome, which means that when you're allowed to, and when you get to a place where you're able to deal with a certain weight, you're able to ignore it. You're able to ignore it and do other things that will not be a distraction into what you're trying to do. And so that's the thing that as people of God, what wisdom does, the scripture says, glory in tribulation, because tribulation worth experience, patience, and hope. That experience is time. There's a time and season for everything, a time for every purpose. But also in the Ecclesiastes, in the 9th chapter, 11th verse, it says that the race is not given to the swift nor to the strong, neither bread to the wise, nor yet riches to men of understanding, nor for men of skills, but time and chance happens to them all. And so in this thing called time, and this thing called life, there's going to be time and chance, and that time is allotted. There's a certain grace period. There's a certain period, just like when you start a job. Most jobs, they have like a 90-day period, where there's a certain trial period. And if you get past that trial period, then, and you're temporary, then eventually you'll become permanent. And it's the same thing with tests, trials, and tribulations. There's a certain period. There's a certain period that you must do certain things. There's a certain period that you must walk through and work through certain things to get the lesson, to understand that once the true test comes, you'll be prepared. And see, that's what the trial thing is there for, to prepare you. The same thing with God. The same thing with God. And so what it is a test. You are being prepared. And the more you become familiar with, just like with lifting weights, the more you become familiar with a certain weight, then the more it'll be easier for you to lift the weight, and the distractions won't be there to get in your way. Is that all right?